What up, Pittsburgh Steel fans? Matty P here. Another episode of Steelers Touching Under. We're talking takeaways and reactions to the Steelers' playoff crippling loss against the Indianapolis Colts, going down 30-13. All right, let's kick straight into it. Mitch Trubisky, that's it. That's time on him for Pittsburgh. 16 out of 23, 169 yards, averages 7.3, 2 INTs. He's sacked 3 times. You can't help all those, but he hangs back in the pocket. He is not the answer, and the Steelers know it. That is why Mason Rudolph entered the game toward the end. If Kenny's not right to go, Mason's the guy next week. This is also a big question going into next year. Mitch Trubisky is one of the highest paid backups in the league. If you cut him once the new league year starts, if you cut him at any time after that, it'll be only a 2.9 million cap saving. If they cut him before the end of the official league season this year, they can save themselves $11 million over the next 2 years, and $5 million next year. I think it's about $6 million the following year because of the roster bonuses. So if he's on the roster come the new league year, he doesn't just get his $4 million salary; he gets $2 million in bonuses, and he already had the $2 million versus his signing bonus, but he gets an extra roster bonus of $1 million. That's in 2024 and 2025. To me, bye-bye. Maybe you look for a trade. Worst case, you cut him. What are you going to get for him at this point in time? He's proved to the NFL that he's a third stringer, if that. Well, second takeaway is the offense. The offense is anemic. 4 out of 11 on third down. Right before I jumped on to record this, I ended up being 4 from 12. Right, 4 from 12 is just not good enough at 33%, or 1/3 of all third downs converted. They didn't win the possession game. We've seen them win possession games and lose, but 26-40, again, not really good enough. If you want to win football games in the NFL, you've got to win the battle of possession, 32 minutes plus. The offense overall averaged about 4.2 yards per play. Again, just not good enough. You're not going to make a difference. You're not going to be able to beat teams that are in a playoff hunt. I think by the time the last drive finished, it actually ended up being 4 yards per play because of what happened in there. It's an anemic offense. We all know that. It's not good enough. And the Steelers, even if they can make the playoffs, you're not going to do anything. You're going to do nothing. It'll probably be worse than what we saw against Steelers Chiefs or Steelers Browns in the last few years. Take number 4. Take number 3. Penalties. The penalties in this game. We talked about possession just then. How the heck are you going to win a football game when you give up so many penalties? 8 penalties for 100 yards. Now, some of that's defense, some of that's offense. But some of those offensive holdings on Dan Moore, like James Daniels, and got like 100, you're crippling yourself. You're absolutely crippling yourself. So yeah, let's move to take number 4, which is, where's the run game gone? Like, the Steelers, what is this? If we look at the stats in this game, like from a run perspective, Jalen Warren, 10 carries, 40 yards, average of 4. It is very hard to average more than 4 in the NFL. Najee Harris, 12 carries, 33 yards. Again, I think you got to seriously look at, it's probably not going to get his 5th-year option. So do you want to trade Najee in this offseason? I know it seems like I'm selling the farm after, with 3 games to go, but quite honestly, what is Najee Harris's role in this team? Do you send him to a team that's better utilized for his skills? Do you send him to a team that is ready to compete, that will do it, that then has the option for the 5th year with him? I don't see how this can improve when we've got an O-line that can't protect anyone. I mean, quite honestly, it's just a joke. Like, Mason Rudolph was under pressure when he went in. Trubisky with the 3 sacks. You've got, as I said, the multiple penalties. Between the run game with Najee and the O-line and what they're doing, it's meh. It's very hard to describe. It's very hard to sit here and give you a take one reaction. It's just not good enough. It's not up to scratch, and it's certainly not up to scratch for a playoff team. And that is why the Steelers are 7-7 right now. So the final take that I wanted to give you is, the defense isn't that much better, but you've got to credit, you wonder about these guys, like Landon Roberts, 9 solo tackles, 8 solo tackles, 9 tackles overall, a QB hit. You look at Trenton Thompson, comes in, does what he can. Cam Hayward there, though, he's week in, week out. 5 tackles, 3 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Ogunjobi, I'm not sold on him, but he had a decent day out there. TJ Watt, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 quarterback hits. He had 3 tackles. He's playing through injury. He's trying to hold this team up. He's getting held. Like, it's just, and then you got guys like Nick Herbig that are having a tremendous game on special team with Connor Haywood. Connor Haywood, I feel like it was everywhere today. But ultimately, this team, when my overall reaction and take, besides the 6 or 7 I've taken you through, it's just not a good football team. And I think that's no revelation to anyone. I don't think look at how frustrated Mike Tomlin is on the sideline. It's beyond Tomlin. It's not just coaching. They've still got the Matt Canada scheme there. They're trying to work away from that. That needs an off-season to refresh. They don't have it. They're spending money on guys that are doing nothing. Like, Deontay had an okay game, but between Deontay, Cole, and a core of 4, and Mitch Trubisky, you can free up more than $30 million in this off-season for the salary cap. This team needs an injection like that to get better. Otherwise, we're just wasting having a rookie quarterback. So the big narrative now will be, can Kenny Pickett play next week? I fear they rush him back, and then then we really screw our chances of any chance at a playoff victory. But I mean, it's at least we're next week. We're in Pittsburgh. Jake Browning, and when we see what we can do. I like Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh. I think that works. Maybe Kenny Pickett's there as the backup, and he only goes in if he has to. But they can't start Mitch Trubisky. If they start Mitch Trubisky, guys, just chalk up the loss. Bet on the other team. Bet heavy. Bet plus 13. And I'm sure you'll walk away with some money. But still, fans, we can only hope they can continue to put things together. I was hoping that even if it was a loss, it was within 5 points, 7 points. Wasn't that? It was a 17-point loss. They stunk it up again. They've crippled their chance at the playoffs. And all we can do as Steel fans is sit there and hope and pray for better. And then, it's just, there's got to be massive changes in the offseason. But no matter what, we'll always be cheering and saying, go Steelers.